Inside the 18. I'm Michael Majid, live from Palm Desert, California. With me, you know him as the czar of the virtual background, the one and only Pro GK Academy, Omar Zeenni. And joining us are Mr. and Mrs. Claus, apparently. We got Mr. and Mrs. Claus joining us, Saskia Weber, 99 World Cup winner, and Mr. Shutout himself, Stan Anderson. Guys, we're all getting very festive in the holiday spirit here. I love this. Everyone's got a different type of Santa hat. I have essentially, I think this was either meant for a mannequin, a toddler, or a dog.
I'm kind of thinking a toddler.
Yeah. It's pretty snug, isn't it? It's pretty snug.
Stan looks like Santa.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, man.
And mine, I'm just naughty. So if anybody knows me, they know that's true.
Love it.
By the way, Saskia, I just noticed in the background you have a picture from the 99 World Cup framed. So that's a solid background you got going right there.
Yeah, it was a early Christmas present. Little display case.
That's awesome. What else is in there?
I've got that's my Missouri Athletic Club Goalkeeper of the Year boot that I won with Brad Friedel and me the same year. And then up here is the replica of my star that was at Home Depot Center, which is no longer Home Depot Center, and the stars aren't there anymore. And then that's actually a Baccarat soccer ball, solid crystal soccer ball that was given to me by one of the heads of Baccarat. There are only 2 in the world. I think Messi has the other one. And it's just engraved with World Cup stuff on it. The 99 World Cup and my name and everything.
Wow. Omar, where's your Mac Herman Trophy Award? Is that anywhere around?
Man, no, I don't have anything to showcase, unfortunately. I think my wall will slowly get bigger and bigger when I get some gloves from some kids eventually. But as of right now, I don't have much.
And then of course the photos.
Yes.
They're more down there. There's one of me and Robin Roberts, which is like my favorite photo because she's like my hero. So.
Well, you know, I mean, I could try to find my in the garage somewhere my like most improved goalkeeper at Soccer Plus or something like that. Like I could put that.
No, it's a really sweet gift because like I've never been one to really like display things or anything, and Shannon got this and it was early Christmas present, so it's really nice.
I think it's fantastic that you can find something that now to be able to I don't want to say one up, but let's just say on par with the Stan Anderson Camp Shutout wall.
Are you kidding me? The wall's ridiculous. Every time I always tell him I just hope one day like I'm privy enough to have one of my gloves up there.
I would love to have a Saskia Weber glove up there.
I will send you it.
Address. Maybe I'll use the PO box, but I've got other gloves up here that do. The problem is that the shadow boxes went away, and so I can't find the shadow boxes. That
I got a shadow box on Amazon.
No, they're not the same. They're different, and I wanted to keep it all the same, but these are the youngsters. This is Fred Emmings and Gaga and the youngsters that have gone into the league.
Lady Gaga sent you a glove? That's cool.
Yeah.
I had to. Sorry, that was too easy.
By the way, though, I'm not gonna lie. I could see Lady Gaga pulling off a goalkeeper outfit. Like that would be unconventional enough for her to go that direction.
We're calling on it.
And she comes out in like goalkeeper gear for like the Super Bowl. People are like, "Wow, that was as alt as you could get."
I love it. I'd wear a Lady Gaga glove.
There you go.
It'd be like totally blinged out.
Well, guys, this is like I said, this is gonna be a holiday show. It's gonna be a little bit zany. It's gonna be a little bit wacky out there, but we're also still gonna give you guys some great information. We're gonna be
really
talking
quick
today.
on this because you said Dan Gaspar. We're glad you are healing. I just wanted. I've been watching your posts and everything, so I know you're watching right now. Glad that you are out of the hospital and on the road to recovery.
Coach Gaspar, yes.
Dan Gaspar is a legend, man. I mean, I hope when I've been a veteran of the goalkeeper coaching wars for that long, I'll still be going out there and doing demos like that guy. He's He's a warrior, man. So shout out to Dan Gaspar. We appreciate everything you've done, honestly, for the game in this country and throughout the world. You know, obviously, you know, you've worked throughout the world and everything like that. But like I said, today is a holiday special, guys. We're going to be talking about unconventional holiday gifts out there for the different goalkeepers in your life. You know, there's been a lot of episodes out there on different IG streams or YouTube videos or podcasts or whatever, you know, talking about like what glove you should get or what cleat you should get. And I said, you know what? Our show's a little wacky. Our show's a little unconventional. We're not going to go that direction.
I can tell you what not to get. Go ahead.
But so we were trying to think more about, you know, I think one of the main issues, and Stan, I want to kind of direct this to you first, is because you've been around so many different types of goalkeepers, obviously through the camp shutouts that you've done throughout the years. Everyone's profile as a goalkeeper is a little bit different, which means every youth goalkeeper out there, every adult goalkeeper out there, just every goalkeeper in general thinks a little bit differently. And because of that, they want something a little bit differently in their lives. So for a second, why can't you break down what we mean by the profile of a goalkeeper?
Boy, you know, I think we all have heard how nutty goalkeepers are and crazy goalkeepers are. I think they're actually smart and smartest people on the field. But at the end of the day, they're all told how nutty and wacky they are. But the reality is you've got different goalkeepers that are tall and small and wide and thin and lanky and slow and lanky and fast, and so many different profiles out there of goalkeepers. The ones that are loud and strong and have great inflection in their communication, and then you got the Van der Sars who tend to stay in the background a little bit and not bark and scream and yell. And so the personalities are different, the physical traits are different, and then psychologically there's a different makeup with them as well. You know, we've all had goalkeepers in this group that you can talk to maybe a little bit more harsh about how their play is, and others that if you say something, they're going to remember it forever. So you got to manage that a little bit as well. So it's a complicated makeup.
Yeah. And, you know, and speaking of complicated makeups, you know, Omar Zeenni's got a little bit of a complicated makeup because he's got 17 different cameras running and he's got a drone and everything like that while he's doing
I
his
love
session.
that, by the way.
Which one?
I love the drone.
Oh no, yeah, the drone is pretty sick. I think it's out of my budget, but
we were doing that with my stuff for UCLA, so we were doing that and everything. Cool. It looked good. Looked good.
What I want to ask you, Omar, is that one thing that like we should kind of take into, like if there's parents or, you know, coaches out there listening in regards to, you know, things to get their goalkeepers that are going to be beneficial to them, you know, should they take kind of like their goalkeeper DNA into account?
I mean, I don't necessarily think that's you know, no, I wouldn't say that. I think it's just obviously to answer your question flat out, no. But I would say, you know, again, if you're going to buy your kid anything during the holidays, I think a camera is the one thing that I've probably typed out on an Instagram DM a lot. Like, go buy the latest version or like the older version of a GoPro, put it behind your goal, and either watch yourself in training or watch yourself in games. And I mean, just literally watching yourself and what you think are your like instinctual decisions, and like those decisions may go right or wrong, but like understanding yourself and what triggers you and what things you see in a game that triggers your movement to go or movement to stay. I think that's super important. And I think that's a very, you know, student of the game type thing that you could easily get for your kid. And then again, that's something they could take to their goalkeeper coach. And then I can talk about, Mike, the goalkeeper DNA, I guess full circle would be, hey coach, this is what I'm noticing in my game. Can we try to expose myself to more of these situations so that I could really amplify or like, you know, make my goalkeeping profile the best that it can be within that goalkeeping profile?
I mean, I think you just brought up something absolutely fantastic in regards to when you're looking at like getting something like a camera, for instance, you know, and like Stan, I know, and Saskia, I know both of you guys have been very big proponents about this, is like, make it an educational tool. Don't just use it to showcase how great you are. And, you know, Stan, I know that's something that you've talked to young goalkeepers, you know, at the camps and whatnot in regards to when you see them posting clips of, you know, Stan's game or Keeper Wars or whatever, you know, they're looking at it from kind of the perspective of like, look how great I was, as opposed to look how much I learned at camp.
Right. Well, we have a kid who I think is quality, and hopefully I'll be able to send Saskia's way someday. Who knows? She's a sophomore. but she'll bring out her simply her phone, and she's just smart enough to edit, and she'll edit quick, and she'll edit quality, not just the phenomenal save if it's deemed phenomenal. She'll put in a quality piece, and that's really, at least today, all you need. She brought the phone out, and we took it everywhere that we trained on the day over a 3-hour window, obviously breaks along the way, and ended up able to make a quality little 2-minute segment for her. And within a day, it was out to a bunch of coaches. And here she's a sophomore. That's all it took, just her knowledge to be able to edit, and a coach's willingness to be able to go, hey, take it anywhere you need to take it, especially in today's day and age where Saskia can't go out and see somebody, or anybody picking Hideki at Stanford can't go out and see anybody. And, you can go on and on and on with the college coaches. So make it easy for kids to be able to capture a bunch of video. They'll do quality editing.
Yeah, and one of the things too, and Saskia, I obviously we don't want to discuss it in that regard, but the kids today are just it's amazing how, I don't want to say just like they're kind of like MacGyvers out there when it comes to, and that's a reference that they're not going to get whatsoever. But there used to be a show called MacGyver, and they used to be able to figure out all. Did they remake it? Did they remake MacGyver?
I think so. But go ahead. Yeah.
But I was going to say is that they're just very, I mean, they can take something like Omar was just talking about, in regards to taking a camera and a tripod, and they can make it look like a studio film. They're just so innovative with what they can do and everything like that. And I think that's something that I think a lot of parents, Saskia, need to hear, is that you don't need to spend a lot of money, but you can definitely help them in this journey.
No, but I think that I agree with what Santa Omar said. It's not, you don't want to just see like these highlights, like if you're using the camera, which I think Omar is absolutely, if you're going to get something, it's a camera, or get a tripod for your iPhone or whatever. But you have to show the build up to everything. You have to, you can't just show the end product, whether it's a save or whatever. Show the build up. If you're training small-sided, if you're in with your team, even if you're in goalkeeper training, show the movement across the goal that leads up to the save. Show the build up, show the breakdown of your defense that leads up to having to make the save, so that then you can really sit down and go over it. It's not just about the save, it's what led up to that and how you dealt with angles and everything like that. If you're not catching that, if you're not watching that part of it, then you're just showing us, you're just looking at shot stopping videos, and we have to see everything. And I don't mean like a half an hour leading up to it. I mean, like like a minute before. Show the breakdown, show how you handled it, show if you were out of position and you recovered and you got back into position. Like, let's see that. And that's the way you should learn from taking video of yourself.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Omar.
No, I think another thing that I want to bring up to even just, coaches in general. I remember it was at Camp Shutout last year. John Bush was putting out sessions for all the coaches in the morning. It was like 6 a.m. prior to anybody waking up. So we'd wake up, we'd go to the field, and we'd run our sessions. So I was trying to do like a whole vlog series. I know it kind of gets, pretty hectic and chaotic at Camp Shutout because it's just such a long day. So I didn't have time to edit everything. But when you're there, I was able to film myself in the training session. And I remember watching myself and realizing that like I advocate to not jump into your wide stance just because that's what I advocate. And I saw myself within the footage with like a day before I was making these coaching points. I'm seeing myself jump into a wide stance from just the footage. But then I still was able to get out of that stance because I did it so early that when the shot came, I was still able to get back into a position where I felt athletic. So even filming myself at Camp Shutout and I'm watching that, then I actually go to my session and it helps me skew my coaching points a little bit different. So instead of throwing a blanket statement over, don't jump into a wide stance, now I'm able, because I've seen myself, to be like, look, like I know you may not feel it, but let's try and get that. If you know it's going to happen no matter what, do that prematurely if you can, so it's out of the way, and now you're athletic again. So I think even from a coach's perspective, what you coach and what you see from other goalkeepers, it's important for you to watch yourself to say, like, maybe you don't feel it, and maybe the goalkeepers aren't feeling it, and that's why they don't know what they're doing wrong. So now you can actually tailor and articulate a point a little bit more sophisticated because now you've seen yourself and you're like, okay, I don't feel it, but I see it. So I tell the goalkeepers, like, if we can match what you feel and what you see together, that's the epitome of like really having full awareness of yourself as a goalkeeper. And I think that's what video can do for you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No,
say something. Okay. I was just going to say, asking Stan right here, because obviously, you work in a club environment, so you're around a lot of youth keepers during the year as well too. But do you feel that parents should invest on editing software? And Omar, I would direct it to you, but you just talked for 2 minutes.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm going to direct.
I'll defer.
To Stan. Do you think that parents should...
Yeah, that's why I was kind of lost.
I love you, Omar. Hey,
thank you.
I got your back.
You're like, Saskia, I've said something about what? I'm like, what?
But do you think that parents should invest in editing software for their kids? Do you think that's necessary?
If you have the resources and the kid is ultimately going to be the one doing it and it helps, sure, if you have the resources, why not? The reality is there's enough out there that's embedded into your phone automatically.
Yeah.
You don't have to. It's just another expense, sadly, if it said that, yeah, you must, whether it be buying a whole package somewhere or something. But I think that there's enough that can be done for free that, and if you're good enough, people are going to notice it. No matter what it is that you do, if you're good enough, either someone's going to tell someone else that you're good enough and you don't even do the video, or they're going to see it themselves. Like I saw years ago, Zach Steffen for about 15 minutes I think it was PDA. It was at a showcase in Florida, Lakewood Ranch, and you could just smell how good he was. He just bossed the moments, and you didn't even really know who he was then, but he just bossed everything. You can get video off of your phone, like we spoke earlier, and if you're showing well, that's enough. I don't think the software is not gonna make you better.
Yeah, I think that. Go ahead, Saskia.
It's not. I don't want people to spend extra money on things either. However, some video that we see is difficult. It's from such a distance, can't really see what's going on and stuff like that. So if you are going to take video, figure it out. Go down to the sideline, put your Zoom on, do something like, because sometimes the video is, I can't even see what I'm watching. But, but I don't think you have to like invest in some like major software or anything like that. Just hit Zoom.
I think another good thing that you can do right now at this during this time of year, especially while there's a little bit of downtime, is get something for your goalkeeper to kind of invest in themselves, intellectually. And there's a question right here in regards from Michael Shearer, and he asks, are there any books that any of you guys recommend? It doesn't even have to be goalkeeper related that the parents or coaches should look out for their young goalkeepers.
Look at us all. We're like this.
Mulqueen had one. Mulch, as a lot of us know, but he had a good book, and it was maybe a decade plus ago that it came out. I'm not sure, and I don't recall the name of it. And we also, if you want to go really old, we can go to the Dr. Joe Moshnick. So now you are a goalkeeper. This is from probably the 80s, right? So I don't know how current that is, but Mulqueen's book was really good, and he's done extremely well in the game. But that'd be a book that I think would be positive. A bunch of mental books out there that are across sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I was just going to say that while you were bringing that book up right there, I saw that Franz Hoek was involved in that book as well, and Franz Hoek has a new book coming out. And actually there was a question from an insider that was asked in regards to when they can purchase that book. And I honestly say the best thing to do is to consistently monitor Franz Hoek's social media and his website, because he's very, very, very good at updating that. And trust me, the second he makes an announcement that it's going to be released, you're going to know. And I know for myself personally, with what he talked about for, on the podcast with ourselves, I'm really looking forward to that book, especially, what he meant by do not set anymore, because I'm looking forward to these revolutionary ideas when it comes to goalkeeping. How about you, Omar?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think that's a guy who has so much knowledge and so much experience, and like the guys he's played with, I mean, excuse me, the guys that he's coached are guys that I looked up to. So it's always nice to hear those kind of different perspectives and seeing at the next level the speed of the game, and if you can make any coaching points that'll help us at a young age as coaches too to start implementing it now so that they are ready to go for the pro game.
Yeah. Saskia, you brought up a really good point a while back, and that was in regards to don't make your education just be purely about goalkeeping. You've mentioned a lot of people, Robin Roberts, Billie Jean King, a lot of really prominent people that you've learned a lot about just in life in general and about sports in general, just from their journeys and from discussing things with that. How important is it for parents to look for things that don't have to do with goalkeeping, whether it's a book or whether it's a video or whatever?
Well, no, you have to keep yourself well-rounded. There's great inspiration from athletes across the board and non-athletes that you can apply to your goalkeeping. You can apply to your life. You can apply to school. And it's about finding those resources and putting your hands on them. Yeah, Robin Roberts, Billie Jean King, you have like a multitude of great books out there from basketball coaches, from football coaches, from everything that transcends sport. It's not about football. It's not about basketball. It's about the journey in the sport and the journey as an athlete. And, that's what's important. And so you'll find something to identify with, whether you're reading like Michael Phelps' book or something like that. Like, don't keep yourself so focused on just soccer.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just brought up a really good point right there. I mean, Omar, you were even just discussing it in regards to this morning when you were doing an IG Live, and you were bringing up other sports and making comparisons right there, because during your, your education as a goalkeeper, you did read up and watch a lot of videos of other sports and other sports figures.
Yeah, I think that's like one of my old coaches growing up. He mentioned to me just kind of like when you watch different sports, try to understand like they're very, very similar movements and coordination movements that we teach at a young age. And that's why like the US has so many great athletes, so many great players and goalkeepers as well. It's because we're exposed to different sports. So don't just watch like the NBA just to watch it. Don't just watch the NFL just to watch it. Like if I'm watching the NFL, sometimes I'll watch like the cornerback, the person who's defending the wide receiver, and I see their starting position. They never start completely square. They start a little bit open. So now they have like a pathway to run. So it's just like, wait, so as a goalkeeper, like maybe I need to have a little bit more of a pathway when I cross step across the goal on a cutback instead of being fully square. So maybe I open my hips a little bit. So now I'm like watching these sports and I'm curious to see why those things make sense. And I think once you do that, the curiosity really starts like taking a precedence, and then you step into a session and now you're actually able to apply those same concepts.
You just brought up a really good point right there, because like one of the things that I used to do when I was younger is I would I would look at training programs for other athletes at my high school, and I would see, and again, I didn't know much about, sports performance, when I was 16 years old, but I did know that like, the basketball players, like their lateral movement was really solid right here. Maybe this activity that they're doing right there is going to benefit me. Mm-hmm. So, I would stress out there to look online. There's tons of different training programs, especially in the United States, for other sports. And you can just go online and just do a Google search for them. And you can find a lot of great programs out there, because I know a lot of parents, you guys get freaked out and you say, well, I don't know much about goalkeeping, but maybe you know a lot about baseball. Maybe you know a lot about football. Maybe you know a lot about basketball, and you can go online and you can say, this is a really good basketball training program. I think some of these things might benefit my youth goalkeeper. So I'm going to purchase that for them, So, with that being said, guys, I want to start moving on to some of these fun little gift ideas that some people have, and I'm going to start out with one that I think personally is a lifesaver for any goalkeeper out there, especially any 30+ goalkeeper who still thinks that they can play, and that is a Thera Gun. This is This is such a great investment, guys. I am not going to lie. I literally have to use this for like an hour before I go out there and start playing in a match nowadays, or even striking a ball. I'm completely obsessed, guys. There's all sorts of different brands. There's all sorts of different price points and everything like that. But basically, the idea of an automatic massage gun, I just think is so strong. Is anybody else ever tried one of these little guys?
I have one.
You got one?
I do. Yeah, I actually have one. I don't know where it is, but I do. I use it every time before I go to practice, and then when I'm done.
What about you, Stan? You pull this out every time you go out there to hop in the cage?
No.
No.
No, I'll just leave it at no.
No. Me either, Stan.
Well, wait a second.
Well, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it. I'm saying,
okay. You know, look, and obviously, guys, look. I mean, I was bringing up. Obviously, this is kind of a little pricey option for a lot of people out there right now. I know, times are a little bit difficult and stuff. Maybe if you don't have the resources for something like this, I'm just enjoying just pulling this stuff out. I got a foam roll cylinder, okay,
Oh, yeah.
which does a lot of the same type of activity for you in regards to prehabilitation. Shout out to Jesse Goldman for me to use the term prehabilitation properly. Prehabilitation.
I'm looking at people on our feed right now. Foam roller is the cheaper option. Like everybody's like cracking me up right now on our thing.
Okay. Well, I know everyone uses, and I know that some people might find foam rollers. Maybe they're sold out online, or they're sold out in the stores.
You can use a lacrosse ball or a softball or something like that if you don't have.
It's funny that you brought that up, Saskia.
There it is. See, and that what a segue, and I didn't even know you were going to pull out the tennis ball.
Yeah. But my thing with the tennis ball, to be honest with you, is like this. Actually, Jesse recommended the tennis ball or the lacrosse ball, as you said. It's a little too much for me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a kind of a wuss. Yeah.
It hurts.
Yeah. Omar, have you ever used the tennis ball?
It works out the knots. Try a lacrosse ball. Talk about pain.
Yeah.
Lacrosse ball, man. I think I got one around here somewhere.
No, I have. I definitely have. I think it's as you start to age a little bit more, even as a young player, you should get it. But from a coach's perspective, those things are lifesavers if we're doing like back-to-back sessions. Like I'll do a 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. session, and then like next session starts at like 11:10. 10 minutes of foam roll, 10 minutes of the gun, and get everything going. So I'm at least feeling better for the next session.
All of you guys are like 26, 27 years old.
Well, I said that the last podcast. Like we were sitting here watching Omar like do a lower hand cross the front of the goal save, and then I was like, "Wait a minute, you're 28." I was like, I was winning a World Cup in 28. What are you bitching about? Like,
no, I'm retired. I'm retired.
You're 28. I was like, thought we were all on the same page, like, too old to play. And he's like making this great save. And I'm like, what? I was like, you better be.
I know.
Unreal.
oh my gosh. Michael Shearer just has a great suggestion in the comments section right now. And actually, this is actually great for young goalkeepers
Tiger
too.
Bomb?
Tiger Bomb. Yep.
They still sell that? Just kidding.
I'm sure they do.
They have a lot of versions.
Yeah, they've got all sorts of different types of versions. It's like the more hardcore version of Icy Hot, right?
Well, when you get older, you use that one that's the arthritis one. So, yeah, it's true. I'll pull that out too. I don't know if I like this game.
You don't like this game? Well, Michael's saying it's good for cold.
Shaking his head.
He says it's good for colder climates and for us oldies out there. So so that's good to know. By the way, guys, some people were saying in regards to Thera Gun being a little expensive. I don't want to plug the company online, but there is a link in the comment section that somebody just posted. I believe it's Mason Benjamin. If you guys want to check out a low cost version of a massage gun.
Mr. Benjamin.
Oh, Mr. Benjamin. Oh, Mason did not post that. Okay. Right. Mr. Benjamin. Seth. All right, let's move on to Stan. Stan, any ideas?
I sent you a couple, but I was a little skeptical at first, but over time I have found that glove glue, and this is in particular a sticky portion of glove glue to go onto gloves, has been a pretty pretty quality product. And so over time, I've found that to be, a lot of people are still unaware of the product. So it's something that can enhance your ability to catch the ball. Nowadays, more people are interested in steering, but at the end of the day, catching is obviously huge. I've also got some fun stuff here. I'm a big Duke Kaboom fan, so you can get your Duke Kaboom jump set there. That's another option for your goalkeeper. And then, of course, we can get the often broken Casey Keller bobblehead that you might be able to get on Amazon. Maybe Mr. Benjamin can put through a link for that as well. But that's a rare goalkeeping bobblehead. Nick Vorberg, a couple others across the country have their own bobbleheads. But a vat of Vaseline, but we already really covered that to a degree. I joked about the mannequin hands to put your gloves on when you get home. But there's a lot of different directions you can go and have some fun this holiday season that aren't terribly expensive. And at the end of the day, just make sure you're out there training and improving, and the rest will take care of itself.
It's funny that you just brought that up right there, Stan, in regards to the mannequin hands type of a thing. And then, do you actually have that picture? Can you share the screen and show everybody kind of what?
Yeah, I don't have it shareable, unfortunately.
Okay, while you guys are chatting about, I'm gonna find that picture because I know I have it right here.
I'll text it to you.
I believe it's in. I believe I have it in my. Let's see here. Oh yes, here we go. Nope, that's not it. Oh, here we go. We got some cool ones here. I'm gonna show some cool ones here, and this is okay. So.
You got those glove dogs and different things that are out there to put into your gloves. This can help them dry. And look at that. Look at that.
Oh my God!
Look how ingenious that is. Look how ingenious that is.
That is absolutely brilliant.
We're going to be buying these things.
Oh my gosh! I mean, the craziest thing is, like, I feel like now what's going to happen is people are just going to start walking into like Targets and just like asking people like, hey, excuse me, do you have any old mannequins that you're not using anymore? I'd like to saw off their hands and bring them home for my goalkeeper.
It says that writing, the cursive writing, I think it says Saskia Weber down there at the
I would say yes, but those hands are a little pale.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
And they're a little small. I have big hands.
There you go.
But this is a fun thing right here, guys, because the thing is that, like, again, you just be innovative, and it doesn't have to be something expensive. And like sometimes I know a lot of times friends are trying to find gifts for their goalkeepers, maybe in their lives, maybe that's a teammate or whatever. You can homemade type of things, ideas like this, training programs, mannequins, all that sort of stuff, is really good. So you brought up a really good one, and that was a jump rope, right?
Jump rope's great.
Oh, look at that.
Jump rope. You can get two for the price of one on Amazon. It's great, especially in what we've been going through, jump rope kids, in what we've been going through, being isolated, being in, like, some people are in apartments, some people are, are in their homes and stuff, but it is in a small space. It works on your fast footwork. It works on what is hard to recreate, as well as cardio, and I've had a lot of my goalkeepers doing it, like, while they're on lockdown and everything. I'm like, guys, grab a jump rope, and I'll send them a jump rope workout. And I know it sounds old school, and it sounds like
awesome.
It's awesome, guys. It's awesome. Try it. You're like, I could jump rope. Bet you can't. I'm like, try it for 5 minutes and let me know how that worked out for you.
We have about 70 to 80 goalkeepers in our club, and every one of them has to have a jump rope.
Yep.
And we'll spend the first 5 minutes rolling out on either a foam roller or a ball, or there's a chirp roller that's a little bit more circular, almost like a tire. It's pretty unique, whatever they use. But then we go to jumping rope.
Uh-huh.
We'll go so far as they'll be jumping rope and keeping their hands by their hips and not swinging really big. And then we'll toss the ball, and they've got to drop the rope and catch the ball.
Yeah, and sometimes, like, with me, two of my kids when I do privates are brother and sister, and like if I'm training one, the other's jumping rope. Yep. While I'm working with one. Like it's an option for you coaches out there. If you're training multiple keepers, you really want to focus on one. Hey, you know, if you're circuit training or whatever, here's your jump rope, you know, one-footed for 30 seconds or for a minute, left-footed, right-footed, then double and stuff. And it's amazing. Like it's, what do we need? We need fast footwork. We need speed, quick twitch muscles and everything. And it is small space. You know, if you're stuck in an apartment somewhere during this lockdown, get yourself a jump rope. Jump rope.
Exactly.
Speaking of tight spaces, guys, I want to bring up this one right here.
See, this is like $5. I just want everybody to know. Okay, so like, let's see what Mike's gonna bring out. The TRX, which is like $100. Okay, like $5. You can actually make a jump rope.
but I know some of you parents out there are concerned about the fact that your kids' high schools gyms are closed right now. They can't get into the gym or anything like that. Honestly, I found that personally during the lockdown, this TRX saved me, you know, because otherwise I would have just been sitting around watching Netflix the entire time. But this forced me to have to put this against the door, and I can do all sorts of different body weight activities, putting a lot of resistance work in. Resistance bands work as well too. But honestly,
I have my battle rope.
What's a battle rope?
Big ropes.
Oh, those are so hard, aren't they?
I have it hooked up outside. Yeah.
Omar, you ever use those?
Only at the gym. I mean, I normally would use a jump rope. I actually got into boxing lately, so I bought like a stationary punching bag. And again, it's if you look at that sport, like finesse in terms of like your footwork and being shifty in and out. And I think a lot of times when it comes to like crossing, when people are on top of you, it's just kind of like shifting around people. Sometimes I'll punch the bag and I'll like, work on my footwork, like 1-2 step getting away. So it's just kind of like transitioning and translating certain exercises to that. But I also like hurdles. I think hurdles are also really, really good to get into like a plyo workout. One-legged, two-legged hops over that. You could even do a combination with jump rope as well. You could even do a combination where you finish that and then you get into boxing. So I think, those little like fast twitch muscles that really hit the ground and go are super important for us. And I think is a good opportunity for you to do cross training.
Yeah.
I mean,
resistance bands are the best by far. I think that's been like the easiest one for me to translate in terms of bicep curls or, putting stuff underneath like my foot. And I'm just doing like one arm bicep curls, doing groin exercises to like strengthen my legs a little bit more. Just a lot of stuff that like you can use without having to go to the gym. And I think a lot of us have had to kind of resort to that.
You just brought up a really good point. There's about 5 feet away from me is a resistance band. Should I go grab it, guys?
No.
Or should I? Okay.
Please our imagination.
You can use your imagination, but I think, even one thing, Stan, is that, you can use those just walking around the house, and just getting that resistance, putting it in between your legs and between your knees and stuff like that, and just walking around the house, and you're just going to develop better balance, better body shape, all that sort of stuff. Now, Jesse Goldman from Goal Line is probably going to say like, no, don't do that. That's an injury waiting to happen. So don't listen to Michael. But I've done that before, and it seemed to work for me. Or it's placebo, and I thought and it made me better goalkeeper because I just assumed that I was a better goalkeeper. Let's move on into some ideas of things to avoid. Okay, there's a lot of gimmicks out there, right? And you guys all know what we're talking about right here. And parents and coaches out there, sometimes because they're not as educated in the position, they kind of fall for these gimmicks. Stan, are there any that you kind of want to bring up to parents and coaches to try to avoid?
Boy, I'm sure there's plenty. Okay. I think, if someone were to gift somebody, let's say training, okay, that's great. But I think moderation or appropriate level training is something to look into if you're going to do something like that. Okay. Maybe you give somebody a 3-session package to go wherever. Okay. And then what you really should look into is not doing that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Maybe doing that Monday, or Monday, Friday, Monday. Something along those lines. That's important, at least from the aspect of making sure that you're smart in your scheduling of training. But as far as products, I don't know that there's a gimmicky or negative product that I can think of. Things that enhance us as goalkeepers. Storelli is a quality product. Some will stay away from it, what have you, because they don't want extra apparel on or whatever, but it's a quality product. But I don't know that there's necessarily anything anymore. Those things that used to loop around your shoes, those things were crap if you were past 4 years old anyway. So I don't know of anything that really is something to stay away from, unless you guys prove me wrong.
Let's see if Saskia can prove you wrong, because I know she's opinionated.
No, I don't. I'm not a gimmicky person. You know that.
Yeah.
I don't even like using the blow up dummies, but I do. But if I have to, I will. No, I mean, use your common sense. Like, come on, parents, come on, everybody, use your common sense. Like, no gimmick or product's gonna, take the place of hard work, good coaching, and educating yourself in the game. Period.
Yeah. Go ahead, Omar.
No,
unless Omar's got something.
No, I don't have a gimmicky thing, but I do want to say there is a gift that you can give, and I don't think many kids have these, are actually studded shoes, like metal cleats for you to wear during soft ground stuff or when it's raining. I think growing up, I always played on I had regular cleats on all the time, and then I got to the Galaxy, and my coach was just like, "You don't have soft grounds? Are you serious?" And I feel like a lot of times us goalkeepers, when we get into those moments, peace of mind is everything. So if we're playing on a wet surface or a field that's a little bit more soft ground, not many keepers have those. So I would say if you have time, or if you have taken care of the camera, the tripod, you've taken care of jump rope, boxing gloves, everything, I think soft metal studs are very, very important to have just in your back pocket, just in case the field's a little bit more slick than you think.
I was going to get each of my goalkeepers a fire pit and those bicycle fences to park your bike in, as to enhance their diving, but I just didn't. The budget was just a little bit too much on that.
I think it's the equipment is there, but it's what we're going to try and tell you is whatever your coach is using the equipment, make sure it's supposed to be used for that purpose. There are people like Stan just said, there are people who buy certain things and then use that in a way that, like, yeah, it's good to have poles, right? To work on your jumping ability. But if you're literally flying over the top pole, like every single time, or you're doing somersaults over them, like it's just, there's got to be moderation in it, but also too, where safety is very important. Like Saskia said, like use it wisely. Don't just use it to use it. Don't get creative with it, but like understand why it's being used, and don't try and repurpose it for something like outlandish.
Yeah.
You just brought up a really good point right there, Omar. And I want any parents out there or coaches out there to hear this for their young goalkeepers, is that if you give them a gift of equipment, make sure you know what it's used for, because especially if you have a younger goalkeeper, that could lead to injury if they don't know how to use the equipment properly.
Well, it's the same thing as the cleats, like as the boots that Omar was talking about. Like they need to know when to use those. You got kids, they think they have the coolest new pair of boots, and they're using them on hard ground, and it's not the proper time. Like it defeats the purpose. So if you're going to buy something like that, educate yourself on what it's used for and when it's used.
Yeah, I mean, like that's one thing. It's like I've seen people. I mean, gosh, when I go to the parks and stuff like that, I see people using equipment. I mean, you see this at the gym too. People don't know how to use the equipment at the gym whatsoever. I mean, it is scary. It is scary. It is really scary. I mean, some of the things that I've seen people doing with all sorts of different equipment at the gym. But I saw at the park, I saw the skills poles that you use to put the bands across, and then people can use them to go underneath and stuff like that. I saw somebody using those poles. They had them out, and then they had the goalkeepers running into the poles, like they're using them as like a mannequin type of a thing. And all I could think of is like one of those things falls out. There's like a stake, this is my impression of a stake, apparently, is the little nail thing coming out or whatever. And like, I don't want that. We are anywhere near a young goalkeeper.
The thing is, Mike is one of those parents. Mike is one of those parents that'll find a way to sue you for anything. Like he's the kind of guy who would be like, isn't that a little bit? Oh, okay. Let's wait it out. Let's wait it out to see what happens here. Boom. Sue.
No.
Mike sues you for all you got.
Spike enters sternum, lawsuit follows.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that happening, Mike.
Oh my gosh. I heard the story about somebody that sued it might have been Quick Goal, or they sued one of the goal line companies for their kid getting hit into the near post, into the edge of the near post. And from then on, that club had to put padding on the sides of the goals to make sure that this kid would not get hit by that. Here's a tip. Why don't you just teach this goalkeeper how to move properly so they're not going backwards into the pole? That's just
look into that club to see if they even invested in anybody to help the goalkeepers.
Yeah, does they have a goalkeeper coach?
True. Snaps to that for sure.
But you brought up a really good point, and then we'll kind of move on from this, is that in regards to the different types of cleats, I think, yes, we said, we weren't going to talk about cleats and gloves and stuff like that, but I think if you're going to make the investment, rather than getting your kid a shiny new pair of boots because they want a new pair of the latest boot or whatever, is make sure that your kid has a turf shoe and a soft ground shoe and, a hard ground shoe, and flats for, futsal and all that sort of thing. So
yeah, I'm just sitting here like,
well, no, because I'm saying that because
I'm just laughing. I'm like, back in the day.
Also, too, like pre-wrap.
You're a cleats kid. Figure it out.
Pre-wrap is is underrated. Tape is underrated, especially if you have long hair too. I used to have long hair. Pre-wrap was the best. I would tape that up, put it around my hair, tie it into a little knot. I'm telling you,
God, we need pictures of that. We need pictures of that.
Those are necessary things. And some, camp shutout merch. I think that's also a must-have in a care package.
Well,
yes.
Would you look at that? I can't imagine that you mentioned that.
I can't. Oh, nice.
There we go.
That would be a nice little goalkeeper thing.
Oh my gosh! And Stan, and if you want, and if you want to get that for the goalkeeper that has everything already, where would you find that?
Oh my
that would be at campshutout.com.
Shameless.
Oh
man, I'm telling you, we're gonna get a lot of. I'm gonna do my best once the camp shutout stuff comes back, and next year for hopefully I'll be invited. Stan, I don't know yet. We'll talk.
Yes, you will be.
I want to make sure a lot of California kids come. I think they're gonna. I was telling Mike, it's literally Disneyland. I mean, it's just like you get there and then you meet a lot of coaches, but also too the players. It's like, man, I wish I would have known about this, or it would have been going when I was playing. And I know it was going when I was playing, but I wish I would have had a Stan Anderson in SoCal. And the closest thing we got is Joe Velasco, who is for me like an hour away. I'd rather fly 4 hours to Wisconsin than drive 2 hours to Joe. It's too far.
We got you. The
LA roads. The LA roads are miserable, man.
It'll take you less time.
I'd rather just fly.
You could get to Wisconsin faster. You could get an hour and a half, like 15 miles here. Hey, trust me.
Yeah, Joe's got to fly me. I'll drive to Burbank and fly to South Bay. I'd rather do that.
You just, but I mean, obviously we're joking around in this, in regards to the shameless plug and stuff like that. But like just camps in general, parents out there who are listening, that is a great investment for your goalkeepers, not just for, them, the educational aspect of going to camps, but the social aspect of going to camps is so huge. And Saskia, I know we've discussed this in the past, how important it is for young goalkeepers to socialize with other goalkeepers they don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, yes. And I think, but it's not just that. It's understanding what else is out there. You get so used to playing in your bubble, in a sense of like with your team against the same teams, all the same players in your area and stuff like that, to get out and get about and go to camps and see other kids your age and how they're excelling and what they're doing, and to be in that environment, to be coached by quality coaches. Because a lot of kids, they might have a goalkeeper coach per se at their club, and they might not. And so to be able to get out and go to a camp that specializes and focuses on goalkeeping and teaches them how to train themselves and what to look for when they go home, because not everybody has what some of our kids have, is incredibly important and incredibly educational.
Valuable.
And yeah, it has to be. And plus, get away from your parents. Sorry, parents, but get away from your parents sitting on their folding chair on the sideline and hovering over you. Go and just be by yourself and train and focus and have bad days and good days.
Oh yeah.
Without running home to mom and dad, figure it out.
You know,
Yeah, and
I would make like a horrible parent. Figure it out, kid.
Man, no, but that's so true though. Like those camps are, you make. I mean, I told Stan too. Like as a coach, when I was there, we'd have 3 sessions a day. The morning session, I remember one time I had a shocking session. I was not prepared. Like some of the kids that I had in my group, we didn't like. It wasn't. I didn't articulate my points well enough, and I expected them to understand what I was saying.
You should have just told them that you were actually not Omar Zeenni, the Pro GK Academy guy. You were his cousin. They couldn't afford the actual Pro GK Academy.
I want to hear about your shocking session.
No, so it was a really, really bad session. And I remember I went to like lunch, and I think it was John Bush, or even I think it was maybe Stan. I think Stan, like, how was it going? I was like, man, had a rough one. I honestly didn't, it wasn't my best. I think they just said, you have another one in like an hour, dude. Just like figure out what happened and then figure it out for that next one. And I remember the next one was a little bit better. And then by the night, it was probably like night and day from the morning. And I remember like going to dinner, and I was like, man, I had so many like drastic emotions. I was a failure as a coach, terrible. Then now at night, the morning session didn't even happen. And I feel like when you have those kids who go into these camps, as long as, again, if someone is letting them know this is what's going to happen, there's going to be a lot of fluctuation of your emotions. You're going to miss home. You're going to be sad that you had a bad day. You want to show this, and this. But trust me, if you just see it through, by the end of the week, you're going to be leaps and bounds ahead of who you are. And that's honestly why I loved Camp Shutout. Not even as a player, I loved it, but as a coach, I was like, man, from Monday to Friday, I was literally a completely different coach, because now you're just like, you're having to come to terms with what you made a mistake on. Okay. Don't dig too deep into it. What is the root of it? You don't have time to dig too deep. What's the root of it? How do you fix it? Boom, apply it. And it was I love that part.
To all the parents out there, I was referring to children going to camp and having to deal with their emotions. Somehow this turned into Omar and having a nervous breakdown at Camp Shutout when he was a coach. I was referring to it's a growing experience for the kid, not the coach, Omar.
I'm
very proud of you.
These parents, I don't know if the parents can take you seriously with that hat. Naughty.
I don't know if the parents are gonna call Stan and be like, is Omar my kid's coach? Because is he gonna be all right? Is he emotionally compromised? Can you make sure my kid's not getting coached by him? I don't want him to have a breakdown.
Just make sure that everybody, just Stan, whatever you do, just make sure that Omar's session is the better session, not the worst one.
There you go. I think what's important when you go to an event like that, goalkeeper specific wise, more so than, let's say, a college ID event where you might not even get any goalkeeper training, and there might be 6 others. That's it. But when you go to something that has quite a few, when you're in your club and you're insulated, as Saskia was mentioning, or if you don't have anybody that works with you as well, and then you might have only your teammate that you really compare contrast against for the most part. Now you go to a larger scale event where you've got kids not only from other parts of your state, but other states and other countries that you're going, wow, they're kicking my backside, or you know what, I'm not as bad as I think. And that compare contrast on a peer level, I think, is PEER level. On a peer level, I think they take home more when you look at it that way than maybe, my words or Omar's words or Michael's words or Dougie's words, whoever may be teaching them. But I think when they see somebody else and they're pretty damn good, it's an eye opener.
Yeah.
That's why Omar used to get up at 5 a.m. at camp to go train, because he would every night he would come back and be like, Mike, I just hope I have done enough to make the Keeper Wars team for Friday. I just really hope that I've done enough to make the Keeper Wars. That I've impressed enough. And when you made the roster, dude, you threw your fist in the air.
Or were you a coach? I'm so confused at this conversation.
Stan can explain it. Stan can explain it. But all I will say is that that event at the end of the whole week was such an amazing opportunity. Like my adrenaline was pumping more than I had ever felt before. Since I played, I swear, I was so nervous to like miss the frame, because if you miss the frame, you have to go sprint to get the ball. I missed the frame during the whole thing, and I'm like, oh my God, these guys are gonna kill me if we concede. I'm gonna go. So I sprint, and I'm like jumping over stanchions. I'm coming back, grabbing the ball. Oh my God, it was something else. Such a fun time.
That is a good time. there's about 600-700 people there, and that's pretty fun. That's
Yeah.
pretty, you earned that nod. And by your next comments, I'm getting you coffee every single day the next year the next year that we're open. These pretty damn nice comments. I get your coffee.
Oh man. It's something else, man. It's such a good time. I swear, it's just, yeah.
I mean, you don't need a publicist. Just send Omar out.
If Angel City is not playing at that time, perhaps you can grace us with your presence as well.
I would love to. We don't play till 2022.
Okay.
But I do have UCLA camps, hopefully. But we'll find the time. I'd love to. I'd absolutely love to.
Fantastic.
Well, let's
By the way, I'm not playing Keeper Wars and jumping over stanchions and stuff. Unless Mike's bringing that motorized thing with him, I'm not doing any of that stuff.
You can opt out of the selection. There's a draft. There's every type of draft there.
All right, cool.
Let's be honest, Saskia, the second you show up, people are going to be asking you if you are playing in the Keeper Wars. And it'll probably be the same thing as like with John Bush and everything like that. Maybe you and Bushy should be the two coaches, the two Hall of Famers out there. Coaching out there.
Yeah.
And then Omar gets cut. That would be the most difficult situation.
Keep the lore alive.
That'd be a long flight home for sure.
While we're wrapping up here, guys, I wanted to do something a little bit fun. I wanted to share, if anybody's got any holiday stories of any gifts that they got in the past that they want to share on the air as we're wrapping up. And we'll start with Mr. Storyteller himself, Omar Zeenni, because I'm sure he's got one.
Sorry, one more time? I missed that whole thing.
Any gifts you've gotten in the past that you want to share, positive or negative experiences as a goalkeeper?
Man, I have a story that I think my friend listens to this, unfortunately, but he had, when we were younger, I think I was like, we had a white elephant thing, and I was the person who could steal the gift at the end. And he didn't have a backyard, but he got this, he doesn't have a backyard, put it that way, right? And I have a big backyard. He got this little mini goal with a little ball. And I remember, I could see his face. He was so happy that he was going to be the one to take that thing home. And I got to the last thing, and there were like 5 other gifts, but I could have taken. But I stole it from him, and till this day, he'll never forgive me. He's like, dude, I have no backyard. I would have used this in my house, used technique and actually shot in this thing. And you didn't, I used it twice. So that was my favorite memory of a holiday thing of we're best friends. So we're fine now. But in the moment, he was so sad. And sometimes when you say a mean joke and you don't think it's going to be taken very that bad, or you do something mean, it's it's funny. But to them, it's a very serious. Man, this kid's emotion went from just completely steel faced, started crying. It was horrible. But yeah, it was rough. I mean, he came over to my house and used it every once in a while, so it was cool. But
that's worse.
I know,
it was
bad.
That's you're torturing him, teasing him with it. You're remember this?
I know,
yeah, you can use it every once in a while.
I know, dude. I know. That's the worst. Yeah, the worst one I've ever. I was 10 or 11. I thought it was funny, but I had to reevaluate what I thought humor was.
Oh my God. Saskia, Stan?
I'm gonna pass to Saskia because if this is okay, because I think I might have mine coming down the stairs at the moment, and I'd like to do it, you guys, if Tank's bringing it downstairs here.
That's fine.
Saskia, is that all right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got nothing.
I can go first if you want.
Honestly, I can't remember the name of them. There was a pair of Puma studs. They had yellow and red on them. They were metal, and I just remember they were just back then. They were just they were over $100, and that's a long time ago, kids. And so they were just everything I'd ever wanted, and I just remember getting them at Christmas and being totally stoked about it. But
well, I don't have it. I don't have it as a visual, but
I wish I still could remember the name of them. But go ahead.
At the Anderson and then the Purath families will have a what do they call it when everybody throws in a grab bag?
All right.
And so I have ended up with over the years Packer items that I have no interest in as a Chicagoan. But one year I ended up with a leopard skin Snuggie. And
I thought this had something to do with soccer. Forget it. I could come up with a lot of stories now.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
See the leopard snuggie, Stan.
The gift I'll never forget.
Oh my gosh! I have two.
Awesome.
I don't know if they're going to compare to this, but this one was a little bit ridiculous. So, back in the day, when I was starting out, I remember the first time I got one of those pairs of like those legit goalkeeper pants, like those like Old Sport or Sundico goalkeeper pants. I got those, and I don't know if everybody remembers, but like they used to have those stirrups, like those little sleeves that you're supposed to put underneath the boot so that the pants stay on.
Yeah, the stirrups.
Right? Yeah, the stirrups. Well, I didn't know that that's what those were for. So I just put the pants on and I went out there and I just have them flopping around and everything like that. And I just kept getting caught in like rocks or like the rope, like the goal rope and everything like that. I was literally an absolute disaster. And I was like, these are the worst. These pants are the worst. I can't believe pros wear these pants.
Hold on.
Okay.
There it is. The leopard snuggie. Oh my
gosh.
It's awesome.
Yeah, wow. There it is.
Oh my God.
It's the leopard snuggie onesie.
There's the arm. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
That looks very comfortable and completely.
That's awesome. I know. Remember, like goalkeeper pants, like padded pants and padded knees and hips and everything. I mean, I never wore them, but I was like, and my kids, they'll come. You got the kid that comes out to practice, and he's like the kid from A Christmas Story that like can't move, and you're just like, like if I teach you how to dive right, you don't need pads, But
I remember.
Oh my gosh.
Out of St. Charles, Illinois, that as a young one, 10, 11, 12, maybe 13, he showed up like that, jean shorts, guards outside the socks, the whole thing, sport goggles, and you looked and you went, eh. But I tell you, in the next 3-4 years, the kid shot up to 17 years old, 6'4", went to Dayton on a scholarship, had a good career. It's like that formative time between 12 and 18.
Those awkward times.
Oh my gosh. Well, Omar used to dress like a cyborg. He used to wear every single type of pad known to man. He was even talking about it on the IG Live earlier today with Ariana Cuscione, where
never
you would
that.
You would wear it and then for warm-ups, and then you would take it all off for the game, because that was when it was time for you to get serious.
Well,
it was comfort.
There's that famous story for me when I cut the sleeves off my jersey at Soccer Plus. And Tony, I was like, remember the black and yellow, the Adidas with the 3 stripes, the thin. So it was Houston. We were at Rice University, and it was summer, and it was 1,000 degrees and 1,000% humidity. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I don't wear pads. And so I cut it into a short sleeve shirt. And I'm like, which became a style after that. And then Tony DeChico decided, okay, we're gonna. They told this story at his funeral actually, and we're gonna show Sauce. Come on, you're gonna demo forward front smothering on like a dry field in Texas, and it was like again, front smother, and I came up and it was like blood, and I was like, all right.
Yep.
So.
Oh my gosh. I want to share this one, you guys, before we wrap up, if you guys are willing to indulge me, because I really, really thought this might have been the worst invention in the history of cleats ever. And you guys may know what this is. It was a very, very expensive gift. I got this for the holidays, back when I was a kid. But Adidas came up with this make your own boot kit where you could make your own cleat. And you put the shoe together yourself, and it had different studs and different bottoms that you would attach to it and everything like that. And it was a very, very, very expensive gift. And it was probably also the worst boot ever created for humankind. I mean, it literally fell apart the second you walked on the field. And I don't know if you guys remember this boot, this
No.
make your own. Okay, so maybe I'm the only one that. Speaking of gimmicks, I might have been. So they might have just made this shoe for me.
You
And
might
this
have been
a
the only
gag
person
gift.
that purchased it.
Yeah, I
I've
feel
seen
like
a
this might have been a
glove
prank
where
of
you
some
can
sort.
Peel off a glove palm and put a new palm on. I've seen that, but
No, this was. I wish I could. If I could go online and
Oh, that's
and
interesting.
and find.
But
and
I got
find-
to
and
head out.
find it.
I got training.
Okay.
I got to head out.
All right. Well,
And
we'll
pleasure to
Hey,
see you.
video that left foot.
I will.
Use the
I'll send
drone.
that
Use
over.
the drone.
Merry Christmas. I'll send that to you for sure.
Merry Christmas, kiddo.
see you,
All right, see
Omar.
you guys.
Bye,
later,
Omar.
Take care.
later,
Bye.
Omar.
Bye.
All right, guys. Should I? Do you want to? Should we wrap up right now, or should I try to find this shoe real
No, we
quick?
can let's wrap it up.
Wrap
Okay.
it up. Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, Stan, thanks for joining us for this holiday special, guys. Thanks to everybody out there for all your support throughout the entire year. This is going to be the only show this week. We got holiday celebrations going on that we're going to be enjoying time with our families and everything like that. And if we don't connect with you guys, no, we'll have one episode before the new year next week. But honestly, just thank you for all your guys' support. And Stan, thank you for supporting everything we're doing and everything that you're doing with the camp and everything like that. So
Great stuff. Thanks for having me on, guys. All the best success to both of you guys and Omar and his left foot. And we'll see you guys on the new year.
Absolutely.
Guys,
Happy holidays, everybody.
happy holidays, guys. Contact at insidethe18media.com if you have a guest suggestion or topic suggestion, at Saskia_Weber on all social media platforms, at Goalkeeper Podcast on all social media platforms. Make sure you check out Camp Shutout. It's www.campshutout.com. Right, Stan?
You got it.
All right.
Cool. All right. We'll see you guys later. Happy holidays. We're out.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.